Hey, this is Dr. Scatliffe, and you're tuned into MD Fem. I'm here with Dr. Kandice Waul Bennett.
Woo!
And Dr. Emily Shay.
What up, what up?
And we are representing all IMGs everywhere.
Yes.
And we are 10 years
10
to the date from graduation. What? Back in 2012.
That's 10 years ago.
A lot of years.
10
A lot of
years
years.
ago.
Let that marinate.
Kind of shows my age.
Listen, I'm just going to have a sip of wine right now. I'm just going to have a sip of wine.
Listen.
Mine done.
10 years ago, we walked across the stage.
Yes. Together, by the way, guys. Together, by the way. We sat together.
Where were we? New Jersey?
We were in Jersey. We were in
Jersey.
New Jersey. We were in New Jersey, guys. We were in the IPAC
Stadium.
That's what I'm trying to remember.
There we go.
I'm trying to remember the name of the stadium. But yes, we walked across.
I don't think it was called that at that name.
No, it was something else. No, it was something else, man. It was called something.
It was another name.
The IZOD.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jesus. Okay. Lived in Jersey, worked in Jersey, telling you.
It was.
It didn't ring a bell. It didn't ring a bell.
Anyhow, we were at the IZOD Center 10 years ago. We walked across the stage together. We did medical school together. We met each other on campus in Dominica. Yes, we are international medical graduates. And if you think that limits you, you need to open your mind, because it does not.
Listen, my skin, I got goosebumps.
The only thing that limits you is you, eh? The only thing that limits you is you. I just want to go on record.
True.
I want y'all to say it with me. The only
thing
that limits you is you. Okay? So if you had difficulty getting into a U.S. medical school, or if you were in a U.S. medical school and you had to revamp and backtrack and get into something else, don't feel bad. You can still do this.
Or even a Canadian medical school for those of us who, lived in Canada for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Yeah. Yo.
Somebody having
How much school
flashbacks.
am I in Canada? Anyway, sorry.
Somebody's having flashbacks. Yes. So you see, we have all different experiences. We all came from different backgrounds, right? I don't know what you guys studied in undergrad. I was biology at Florida State. I did pre-med, and then I had a minor in chemistry. And then I went to University of Miami, and I did a post-baccalaureate in biomedical science. And then I got accepted to the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine. And I went there, and I was depressed as hell, and discovered I had ADHD. And refused medication like a crazy woman. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I had to be out of my mind when I did that. And anyhow,
you didn't know any better.
It did not work out, of course, because the overwhelming amount of information that you have in medical school, I don't care what your IQ is, it will, if you have ADHD, it's going to bring it out, okay? And that's what happened. And then I left there. I went and I worked in Miami for I think about a year, and then I ended up going to Ross Medical School. And I went through the MERP program, which is basically their previous program before you go into the school. And when I was going through it, it was a really difficult time for me when I was going through this whole thing, right? Because I questioned my made my confidence go down, eh? It made me question myself. It made me question my intelligence, my ability, and so forth. And then I had to build that back up. And I'm so grateful that I had a support system that came around me and made me know that it's not your intelligence, that you can do this. And when you have some just the right set of people backing you, you can do anything, eh? You can do when you have parents that are looking at you and say, you are bigger than this, you can do this, when you have a sister and a brother that are like, we believe in you, we see what you're going to be, we see God in you, look.
No.
Anything.
Exactly.
Anything. So I don't know what the story is. I don't know what your backstory is. Don't get discouraged. You can do it. I'm a pulmonary critical care physician.
A Black woman in pulmonary critical care.
I run ICUs for a living. Let that marinate. I had a doctor, a dean of students at UC, at University of Cincinnati, tell me I was never going to become a doctor. I need to go to nursing school. That's what she told me. You never tell a Virgo you can't. You never tell a Virgo you can't. You better put that down in red ink, eh? You never tell a Virgo you can't. You know what Virgos do? Virgos say, oh, really? Okay, player pimping, I'm going to show you. Don't worry. I did.
It's someone who has the determination and the will.
No. Listen, I'm telling you specifically, I'm telling you as a Virgo, go watch Terrell Grice. Go watch Terrell Grice. Terrell's a Virgo too. He said this twice before. Anytime.
I don't think it's a Virgo thing.
It's not a Virgo thing.
Trust me.
No. Because I'm not a Virgo. Kandice, you a Virgo?
Y'all have Virgo
energy? And somebody tell me no.
You have Virgo energy.
No.
It's okay.
Is anybody?
Wow.
Anybody?
Virgo energy.
Anybody who has a will.
You may be a different sign, but you were born in the Virgo house. It's all right. You're okay. It's okay. We're bringing you in. Don't
all right. We'll let you have it. This is not the hill I want to die on.
I'll let you have it.
I'll let you have it.
Hey, what's wrong with being a Virgo? Bae's a Virgo. Beyonce's a Virgo. What's wrong with being a Virgo? Hello.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong.
Welcome to the show.
There's nothing wrong with being a Virgo. I'm just saying.
Not trying to shake my thing. Anyways, going back to the show. I feel like anybody who say, okay, I'm gonna apply to IMG, apply to Ross or a school out there, it does take a different level. Of course, it does decrease your confidence. I feel like all of us went through that.
Yeah,
it hits you like, wow, I guess I wasn't good enough to get into this U.S. or this Canadian medical school.
I want to stop you right there. It's not that you're not. So I want to make something very clear. Standardized exams, okay, first of all, okay? Standardized exams are not designed for people of different diversities and color.
Well, look like me and you. Let's say
Exactly. I was trying to be politically correct, but Dr.
She's dancing around it. There's no need to dance around it.
We're going to go left with
you don't need to dance around it. It's straight facts.
MCATs, these exams are about strategy, eh? And if when you get that in your head, standardized exams are about strategy and not really about your knowledge base, then you will do so much better, okay? It is not about what you know. It's about strategy. It's about what they're going to ask.
Yeah.
It's about what they're going to ask. Okay, that's what it's about. So when they get, all these courses that are designed to help you score high, what they're really doing is they're looking at patterns. They're looking at past questions. That's how they're teaching you to succeed on the exam. It's not about, having a wide knowledge base and knowing everything. No. It's about knowing the exam. Okay, so there's a lot of people who pass board exams and pass this exams, and when you deal with them as practitioners, you're going, who is this individual?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm. Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Like you got a what on the USMLE?
Thank you. So it's not, I'm not bringing down my colleagues at all, but don't use that to judge to judge who you are. Please do not use that to judge who you are. Okay? So let's start there. Okay? So don't think that you weren't good enough. Okay? Because that's what we all did. It's not that at all.
Yep.
It's just you didn't fit the mold that they wanted.
Preach it. Say it again.
You didn't fit the mold that they wanted, because remember that medical school was traditionally designed for white males, eh?
As with everything else in society.
White males that came from a certain background, okay? My father's father was a physician. Trust fund babies.
Yeah.
These individuals, okay?
And as with everything else, women were an afterthought.
Thank you. And still 2% of physicians are black, basically. We're black. 2%.
Yeah.
2%. Let that marinate. So representation matters, eh?
Yeah.
Representation matters.
Kandice, what was your... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because you gave us a rundown of your story and how you...
Yes, what was Kandice's story?
So Kandice, what was your story coming into medical school?
So,
you don't have to tell it all, but what you would like to share?
So I'm a Canadian, so y'all know. So I started out in Vancouver, Canada, and started applying to school. So I went to Trinity Western, so it's a Christian Canadian school. Okay. I did my MCAT. I don't remember how much I got, but I know it wasn't good enough. Let's put it that way. And then I decided to apply to all the different Canadian schools, which only have like 1 or 2 per province.
Yeah.
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 Wow, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now imagine everyone
how many provinces are there?
Girl, I was just about to try to count in my head.
It's not
BC,
50
Alberta.
like the US.
No, BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec. Then you have Nunavut and what's the next one? There's one next to Nunavut. Then you have all the ones along the Atlantic, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland.
Yes,
I know I'm missing some. Canadians out there, don't kill us, okay?
Don't kill us. Don't kill us.
But how much is it?
MG Fem would like to just say a disclaimer. We do not support any of the statements that
how much we reach already? How much you reach? Like 10? It has to be at least 10. So now everybody, everyone across the country is applying to these.
It's 10. Okay.
10. So there's 10 provinces.
Wow.
And you have 1. There's 1 in BC.
So
correct?
Wait a second.
Medical school.
So
I think so.
No, there's 2.
There's 2.
I have a question from the cheap seats in the back. Quick question, right? How are they dealing with the shortage of physicians?
That's just no. Don't do that. No, that's a different comment. That's a different rant for a different day.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time for that. That's not the conversation at hand.
I'm telling my story, and there's only 1 or 2 medical school in the province. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. We got.
I have friends who. Probably, no, I can't say still applying. But when I was in Ross, they were still applying. And this was like their 3rd, 4th time. They still a try. Wow. Anyways, I just applied once and I was like, not a time for this. So I applied to the U.S. school. And I mean, as a Canadian applying to the U.S. school, them still look at you weird. Them still, it's like, oh, like, you're not from here. Sorry, we can't take you. Anyways, so I was like, you know what? I'm from the island. We can't go back to the island. So it's like, let's do this. So I decided to apply to Ross, and I was like, oh, I got in, but hey, it's not around here, but we'll adjust. It's fine. So yes, confidence, of course, was shot a couple times. Anyways, I decided to go and met you wonderful people. And yes, that is my story.
I think that
in a nutshell.
We met in first semester, correct? Me and you.
Yes,
and
we did.
Emily
you were sitting right. You were sitting in my left. You were sitting on my left on a seat right below. And you were using a black MacBook, and I was like, "Oh, I like her."
That's how we connected. We were like, "Yo, black MacBook too." It's like, cool. We were the only 2 people in that class that had black MacBooks, by the way. But anyhow.
Yes,
correct.
Yes.
Candice, were you a biology major too?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was a chemistry major.
Okay.
I don't know why I picked that route. People, you do not have to go that route.
Listen to me. Pain. I was a chemistry
It just
minor.
messes.
Pain.
It just messes with your GPA. Don't.
That's what I wish I knew.
Brutal, man. It's brutal.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's what I wish I knew.
When I heard that you could do pre-med from the arts, I was like, why didn't I do English?
Arts. Can you imagine? Why would I? Why? What? Anyways.
You know what? The message in that one, which is what I like, anytime I come in contact with somebody who is like thinking about going into medical school, you know, we always run into like med students or pre-med. Mm-hmm. I'm like, listen, you don't have to do
whatever
biology.
You want.
You don't have to do chemistry. The important thing is find out the prerequisites.
Thank you.
Find out the prerequisites and do something that you're going to enjoy, number 1.
Right.
And 2 is going to bump up your GPA.
Yep.
So you
Exactly.
can do underwater basket weaving as long as you do those prereqs, that biology, the chem, the chem, the anatomy, whatever it is nowadays, as long as you complete those and get, the right marks or the right grades, use everything else to boost your GPA.
Right.
And have fun.
Excellent advice.
Have fun. You know how much nights me in a lab I struggle? And I'm like, why?
Let me translate for my Yankee friends here. Do you know how many nights I was in the lab struggling?
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
Out.
Yes. So my thing is this. My thing is this. That's so huge point. That's a huge point. Have fun. You're in undergrad.
Yeah.
You need to have
fun.
You need balance, eh?
Fun.
If there's anything that you want to learn in undergrad, there's a couple things. Number one, balance, eh? Balance.
Mm-hmm.
To have a good balance. Learn how to be able to time manage. Mm-hmm. That's going to be huge for medical school. Time management is huge, and understand how to be able to relax and to release. And what brings you joy, okay? If you can find those things, okay? Because when you need to de-stress from studying or de-stress from all this, because you're going to get hit with all forms of information coming at you 360 degrees, eh? You got to be able to manage time, and you got to be able to learn how to manage your stress too, okay? Yeah. I had an outlet of poetry. That's what I had, spoken word. I didn't even know that was going to be such a release for me. When I did it, I was doing it because I was good at it, and I made money under my alias. So I was like, hey, let's go. This is another stream of income. But it became an outlet for me, right? So, and it was a great way to release stress for me, and writing and speaking and having the, recording and doing that whole stuff. It was a great outlet for me. So you have to find what brings you joy. Find what brings you joy and time management.
By the way, I haven't heard anything new in a while.
Oh, good Lord. Wow.
Pushing it out there.
Calling me out. You're calling me out in the streets, fam? In the street?
Calling you out.
Okay, fam. All right. Okay.
So, I wish, if I had known that. So, I don't think any of us had anyone in the medical field when we decided we were going to medical school, right? None of us. We're all first physicians in our family.
Yep.
So I didn't know.
I was a nurse. That's it. That's what it.
So I wish I had known that I did not have to be a biology major. That I just had to do the prereqs. But me thinking, okay, I'm going to medical school, I have to do biology. I was a bio major and a chemistry minor. Actually, I was a double major when I started. I was a biology and Spanish major.
What? My girl, Latin. Oh.
With a chemistry minor. That's how I started undergrad.
Wow.
My God. Oh my God, the stress level.
But the reason I don't even remember the stress that much. I dropped the Spanish major because I wanted to graduate the same time as my class. Okay. I had made friends who are my friends to this day. Camila McLean, calling you out. My sister friend, Camila. Calling you out, sis. I wanted to graduate. She's the only one I'll call out. But I wanted to graduate with my people. You pick up people who are like, that becomes your family, your friend. Like,
where did you go for undergrad?
I went to Oakwood. Well, now it's Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh yeah!
Shout out to my OU ambassador.
I do know that.
OU? Where you at?
So Tease went there too, right? Were you
yes.
there the same
No,
time
I think Tease graduated before I did. She graduated the year that I started.
Sorry, that's Dr. Leticia Barksdale. Shout out.
Barksdale, she's another Ross graduate. Hello. I dropped that Spanish major because I wanted to graduate with my peer group. But had I known that I could have stayed a Spanish major, dropped the bio major, and just did I I would have spent a semester in Argentina.
For real.
That's what I would have done. I would have had a whole different language under my belt that I could still use to this day. I would have lived in a different country for at least a semester.
You might have been married to a Spanish man.
Wait.
A Latin lover.
Wait, so what major would you have done if you did not do the biology major? What major would you have done?
I don't know. Right now I'm saying Spanish because that was my other major. But I don't know, maybe I would have done, African American studies because I did a couple of those classes. I did a couple of those classes.
What would you have done?
I did.
Dr. Scatliffe?
English.
What would you have done?
English literature. I would have done
you would definitely have done that.
Poetry, creative writing. All of my extra classes, all the fillers were all like creative writing, poetry, African American literature. This kind, oh my God, I loved it. Loved it. And that's how I met some of my friends. Like in those classes, I wasn't friends with the fellow I was friends with the English folks. Okay, it was hilarious. I come out with the poets, and it was, and they were always like, "Where are you going after lab?" And I was like, "I'm going to poet people. What's that about? Where am I going? Poets. What's that about? Get out of here. We're going to go right under the trees. Like, what's wrong with you? Come on. Like, I need an event. Like."
Yeah.
Oh,
so
if I knew.
Then I met you guys I actually came to Ross looking for Kandice. I came looking for Kandice.
Yeah, you
because Kandice, you and the world is so small. You and I lived in the same city in BC. And our families somehow knew each other. So when I think it was your aunt found out that I was going to Ross, and by the way, Ross was like an afterthought for me, kind of like the same with you two. I was at Oakwood trying to figure out where I was going to go for medical school. I think I thought about going to the Dominican Republic, but by then I'd already done 4 years of undergrad, and there it's 6 years straight to become a doctor. So I'd already done the 4 years. Like I can't do that now, or I didn't want to. And then I was like a computer lab monitor in the library, and one of the guys came up to me and asked me, I think I might have been filling out paperwork. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I told him. Somehow we ended up talking about it. He's like, "Oh, have you heard of Ross?" And I'm like, "Where is that?" He's like, "Dominica." And I was like, "How do you know about it?" He's like, "My mom's Dominica." And so I was like, okay. So I went to check it out, applied, boom, got in. I was like, and I kind of wanted to go back like you kind of. I wanted to go back to the islands. I was tired of being in North America. Been in North America for how long? I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. I want to go home.
Let me translate for the Yankees. I'm tired. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't, and I didn't really. I guess I could have gone to UE, but there's like Ross was. They had students who are going back to the U.S. and going back to Canada and practicing. And so that was a big thing to be able to at least come back and practice. So I applied, boom. Someone found out that that's where I was going. Said, "Oh, look up this person, Kandice." I remember walking into that classroom. And I don't know if you guys you were doing something for it was an extracurricular activity. And I walked into the room.
Black Students Union.
Yes, that's what it was. Walked into the room. Candice was standing in front of me, and you, Kristen, were standing right next to her, and that was that! That was it! Fast forward to 2012.
It was within 2 minutes. We were thick as thieves, I was like, thick as, 2 minutes. I was like, yo, this is good people.
Listen, so true.
Yeah.
I came for one and I got two. 2 for 1 special, all right? You see?
And what's so funny is you said Kristen. You didn't say Kandice. You said Kristen, right? And
then, the two of us.
You remember.
We're both Kristen, which
and
was so funny. And I was like, and she was like, "Wait, both of you named Kristen?" We're like, "Yeah."
And the thing is, I didn't know what Kandice, I didn't know what you look like. So when you both turned around, I was like,
Which one is it? Which one?
So now you have to dig into the family connections. Like, oh, it's me. I'm like, all right. But by then, like, then you already hanging out. You know, you and Kristen were already like Batty and Bench.
Yep.
So now, right? So now fast forward to 2012 and. Kristen, which picture? You sent another picture to us the other day, and it was us in the line, like waiting to cross the stage.
Yes.
And it's me, you, and then Kandice behind. And I sent that picture to Camila. I sent it to Camila, and she's like, and look who has your back. I was like, yes, they won. The two of them have my back. From the beginning, from walking across the stage till now, the two of them have my back.
Listen, I first of all, what kills me about that?
Think about it like that.
I never thought about it. Yeah, that's exactly. So,
and Kristen, who have your back? Candice, and who have your front? Me. So.
Always. And who got the front protecting a fence for Candice?
Well.
And that was always how it was. It was like, wait, you coming to Hawaii? Why? You coming to Hawaii?
Yep.
That kind of describes the relationship.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
In a nutshell.
Camila was the one who pointed out. She's like, and look who's behind you, who always have your back. I'm like, you're right. That's true. That's straight facts. Even across
That's
the
so
stage.
interesting.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
It's true. Well, and we
wow.
That day when we were graduating, I was like, I cannot not sit by these people. Where are they? We looked for each other in a stadium of people. We were like, nope, we cannot not sit by each other.
Yeah.
We looked for each other because remember, you could choose where you were sitting. You could choose where you were sitting.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, because I remember Wendy had wanted to sit by her. I remember this, right? And I was like, Candice, Wendy, I want to sit by her. And I was like, so sorry. She would have read them, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you can't remember this thing right.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
Like,
I remember. Yeah. So, yeah. It's been
years.
real. It's been 10 years.
10
years.
How much did y'all support me through? Kristen, when I got into residency, where did I sleep?
You slept by me. You came by my house. You came by my house. I told you to come by my house.
Yep. Slept
for as long as you wanted, I said. Come
interviews, I slept by your house when they were in Jersey. When I started my residency, I slept by your house and drove, was it an hour? An hour south to go until my apartment was ready and until my stuff showed up.
Right? Yep.
Always had my
I remember that,
back.
actually.
Okay?
No, seriously. But and like people think, so that's why I think it's so interesting. Like people, like when I posted this thing on Instagram, everybody's like, you guys have known each other that long. It's like you don't understand. These are the day ones. These are the day ones. This is not fake.
So true.
This is not manufactured for some podcast or for some Instagram. This is a genuine connection. We have known each other for that long. And this is the ride or die. You come for one, you come for all. So be careful.
You come for everybody.
So yeah, no. It's that serious. So I do remember when we were doing our rotations. I remember Candice, we were in Atlanta together. Remember? We came down to Miami and
Miami
to Atlanta, right? And then we went.
The drive to Michigan was.
Oh, yes, I remember. Jesus. You covered us, boy. You covered us.
Was that from
New York to Saginaw, Michigan?
Was that rotation? That was rotations, right? We had a Saginaw.
Saginaw, Michigan had the best surgery rotation. It was one of the if you got this one and you did well, eh? And I said, I'm going to do it. And Kandice is like, are you crazy? And I was like, yes, I'm doing it. And she drove with me in my Honda Civic. I remember blue Honda Accord, and we drove over from New York to Saginaw, Michigan. We stopped in Cincinnati.
That was a long drive.
It was a long drive.
Yeah.
I remember that drive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We built different. We are built. People,
literally.
Everybody who went to Ross, because so for those who don't know, a lot of the U.S. medical schools will have one or two sites that are like affiliated with your program, then that's where you do your rotations. Those schools in the Caribbean don't necessarily have that. So they'll have multiple sites around the country that you can go and complete, right, your rotations.
Right.
If you're fortunate, you'll get into the one site where you can do everything and you stay in one place. Clearly, it sounds like you didn't have that. I know I didn't have that.
What I did was
None of us has that.
Okay.
So what we did really, and I think me and you sat down and kind of looked at similar sites to make sure we were together for most of it. But it was all, we made sure. First of all, you want to make sure all of them are ACGMA approved.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
All of them are going to be ACGMA approved, and that they were going to be California and Texas okay.
Yep. There was that too. Yep.
So those were the big points, and so we were going to have to hop because there's no way you're going to get to stay in one place and do all of those rotations and meet all of those criteria. Yeah. And so that's why we ended up doing Miami and then Atlanta, because Atlanta was peds, if I remember correctly, and we did a pain rotation there too. And Miami we did internal medicine at Sinai, if I remember correctly, family too. And then we did surgery at Saginaw. And I mean, like we were hopping,
yeah.
Okay,
hopping.
And you got just to be an IMG, you have to have some certain characteristics. You have to have. Number one, you have to have resilience.
Oh yeah.
You got to be resilient. You got to be dedicated. Okay, you need to get some tough skin. Okay, because they're about to dig in. All these people who agree to do rotations, all these attendings, they think that you're lesser because you're an IMG. You got to prove that you're not lesser. I remember being on an OB rotation in Atlanta. Okay, I was doing a gyne surge rotation with this guy and this doc, and he was like notorious for pulling down IMGs, And I made sure I knew my stuff inside and out. Okay. And there was a lady that had Fitzhugh-Curtis-Patrick syndrome, basically like the inflammation of her liver from PID, right? And it's very rare, But when it happened, I was like, I know what that is. And so we were around, and he asked, and I answered it correctly. He said, "What school do you go to?" And I was like, "Ross." He was like, "Ross?" And I was like, "Yes, Ross. Hi, I'm Dr. Scatliffe." I was like, and as soon as I did that, we matched up, and he was like, he didn't care that I was an IMG anymore. That's how you continue to push as an IMG. You got to know your stuff inside and out. Yep. You got to continue to perform consistency. You got to be on it.
You got to stand out.
The time. You have to stand out because you need recommendations. You need recommendation letters.
Yeah.
You need recommendation letters. I mean, some of the connections I made on rotations, I still know those physicians today.
Yeah.
And some of them were mentors to me. So, shout out to Dr. Barbara Simmons in Atlanta. Always been love her. She was so amazing, man. So amazing. Like you meet another Black woman, right? And she's lifting you up.
Yeah.
Nothing in the world like that.
Yeah.
Nothing in the world like that.
True.
So this is an encouragement podcast, for everybody who's looking to go into medical school, or you already got accepted to an internal medical graduate program, whether it's Ross or someplace else. These are the pointers. You got to stay consistent, you got to stay resilient, you got to be determined, and you got to just stand out. You got to work hard. It's going to be hard work, It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it don't matter where you go. It would be hard
where
work.
You go. Medical school is about running that race hard and long. I'm just going to tell you right now. Real. It's not no swift race.
Yeah.
Forget everything else in your life.
This is long distance running.
Yeah.
Okay? And exactly, you got to dedicate. This has got to be the number one priority.
Yeah.
You got to put some things on the burner. I made some sacrifices to do this. A lot of sacrifices. So people look at your life and say, "Oh, you're not married or you don't have children." It was worth it. This is what I wanted to do. This is my dream.
Yeah.
This is my dream. So, and everything comes in its time.
Yeah.
Okay? So you just stay dedicated, you stay focused, and everything will fall in place. You don't want any regrets. You want to take that shot, and you want to make the shot count.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and especially when you're coming from IMGs and you're doing these rotations up here in the States, you want to make sure you get good letters of recommendation. You want to make sure ACGMA approved, And if you want to go to California and Texas, you have to look at the requirements. You have to see if that rotation is okay for those states. That's still a thing.
That's still a thing even now?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Oh my god!
Still a thing.
10 years later, still
10
a thing.
years.
So you want to make sure, and you have an office of professional development within your medical school. Everybody does, right? It's basically who is going to help you after you graduate. So you can always ask them questions, okay, about what you need to practice in this state or what you need to practice in that state, and utilize those people, you know?
Yeah.
So
that is true.
Also verify, because
yes,
it's part of the medical field. Trust but verify is what people say. You gotta just verify the information that you're getting,
right?
So you know that there should be no wasted movements.
Yeah.
Okay,
Calculated. Everything needs to be
efficient movements, because this is, as you said, it's a marathon. So you gotta pace yourself. Make sure that you take care of yourself in all of it still, but yeah. So.
And the relationships that you build here, as you see, will last for years.
10 years later. 10 years.
And I just want to say that we look amazing. Thank you very much. We look amazing.
Oh, yes.
I'm saying.
Drink water and mind your business. And hydrate.
Say it again. Drink water. Your business.
And mind your business. Hey!
Hydrate, guys. Hydrate and keep the eyes focused. Thanks so much. Okay, thanks for joining us on this episode of MG Fam. It was great having you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
10 years. Woo.